I wanted to actually do this video at home, but I haven't had time at home to do anything other than, the obvious. Get up, get my kid ready for school, get myself ready for work, go to work, come home, whatever. What everybody does every day. So I'm a minus 127 pounds, but that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is about a rant. Actually, I want to let you all know. I was last week in Washington State for work, and my flight there was fine. I took Southwest Airlines, and that was fine. On the way back, however, on Friday, this Friday that just passed, a week from today, Friday, I was on my way back, and well, it was a series of unfortunate events, and it was not a good look for Southwest Airlines. I think they are the most horrible airlines. I wanted to make this video with receipts because I have on my phone everything that happened that day. First, my first flight was at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I had to go return my rental car before I went to the airport, which means that I left my hotel around 2:30ish in the morning. Okay? Because you can return the rental car and then the rental car company takes you over to the airport. And I wasn't sure how long that was going to take. And I didn't want to miss my flight because I wanted to be home, after a week. So I dropped off my rental car. I got to the airport before I was supposed to be there. And when I go print out my luggage tag, it didn't let me. And I go up to the customer service department. And I told the lady, "Hey, I'm trying to print out my tag and it won't let me." And she goes, "Oh, let me see your ticket." So I show her my ticket, and she goes, "Yeah, it's because your connection flight has been canceled. Let me get your bags on, and let's rearrange your flight for you." So I was supposed to go from Washington State to Midway Airport to Manchester Airport. So that would have been one layover, right? Which isn't ideal because I personally like straight flights, no connections. But it's ideal if you want to leave from Manchester because there isn't any flights without any connections. Otherwise, you have to go to Boston, and the Boston airport is, well, it's huge. And it's expensive to park there, or you gotta take the bus, which means you have to sit in a bus full of people for almost 3 hours. If you drive there, it's an hour and a half. So I went to the Manchester airport, which is about an hour away from my house. Okay, fine. Whatever. That was my choice. I figured, well, I'll suck it up and do one connection. So Friday at 5 something that my plane was supposed to leave. My plane didn't leave because it was canceled. My connecting flight was canceled. So there was no reason for me to go to Midway. The lady goes, "Instead of going to Midway from here, because that flight has been canceled, we're gonna get you over to Las Vegas, and then you could go to Chicago, and from Chicago you could go to New Hampshire." "Fine," I said, "as long as I get home today." And she said, "Yep, you'll be home today. It just won't be as early as your regular route." I go, "Okay." I was supposed to get home before like 4 p.m. and this one was gonna get me home around 9. So there's a 5-hour difference. Fine, whatever, things happen. So I asked her, "Hey, why did that flight get canceled?" Her response was unacceptable. Unacceptable. The flight got canceled, not because there was something wrong with the plane, not because of Mother Nature. The flight got canceled because, even though she didn't put it this way, this is exactly what happened. Lack of management. The flight got canceled because their crew were overscheduled and had gone over the amount of hours that they're allowed to fly. So my flight got canceled because Southwestern Airlines does not know how to do a flight schedule. That's flight 1 canceled. So now she's like, well, you're going to have to run to the other side of the airport to get on the plane to Vegas. It leaves in like less than half an hour. They're already boarding. So I take myself and I ran clear across the airport. Thank goodness, Manchester Airport is not that big. And I get into my flight to Vegas. I'm supposed to go from Seattle to Vegas. From Vegas to Chicago. From Chicago to New Hampshire. I get to Vegas. And I'm supposed to run from one side of the airport to the other side of the airport to get my connecting flight. When I get there, that flight has been canceled. This time, according to them, it was Mother Nature. Except there wasn't a storm anywhere near the United States. So, not really sure why that flight was canceled. But instead of having a lot of different individuals, there were over 200 people on the plane. So everybody had to get a rebooked flight. They said make one line for this one customer service representative to assist you. One line. This was about before 9 a.m. So I get in the line. At about 11:30 a.m., I get seen by the representative. So she says, well, our flight to Chicago has been canceled because there are too many planes in the airport of Chicago and air traffic is not allowing anyone else to fly in. Except 2 gates down from where she was saying this, there was a flight to Chicago that was departing. That didn't bode well for everyone that was in line, nor did it bode well for me. So I explained to her, but that flight is going to Chicago and it didn't get canceled. And she's like, yeah, but that's included in the flights that are allowed in. Ours is not. Okay, fine. Get me away home. That is not my final destination anyway, I say. She's like, okay, so what's your final destination? I go, well, my final destination is Manchester, New Hampshire Airport. I can get you into Boston. My car is in Manchester, New Hampshire Airport. About 2 hours from Boston Airport. So are you going to also get me a taxi to go from one to the other? Oh, no, we don't do that. Then I'm not going to Boston, I said. Okay, well, then the other thing we can do is you can spend the night here, and tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, you can go over to Orlando and then wait 8 hours in Orlando and get on the 8 o'clock flight p.m. and get tomorrow past midnight, meaning Sunday morning, to Manchester. I said, well, if my flight from Orlando to Manchester isn't until 8 o'clock at night, is there any way I could get to Orlando today so that I can at least, in the very least, get some sleep in a hotel room? And she looked at me. She goes, well, maybe. Let me see what I can do. So I went from Seattle to Las Vegas, and then my canceled flight to Chicago didn't happen. Fine. So from Las Vegas, I went to Texas. From Texas, I had to run from one side of the Texas airport, which is huge, by the way, to the other side of the Texas airport to get in my flight to Orlando. I got to Orlando at 1 o'clock in the morning. When I get to Orlando, my suitcases are not there. Suitcases, too. Because I had one with my personal stuff and one that I had bought like a bag and put stuff in it, because when I got to the New Hampshire airport, my work stuff was making my bag to be overweight, and they charged me $75, even though they're not supposed to charge for bags, and you're allowed to bring two, and I only had one. So now I am now in Texas, getting in a let's see, from Seattle to Las Vegas, from Las Vegas to Texas, from Texas to Orlando. So this will be my third flight. But two had already been canceled. I get to Orlando at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I call an Uber. My bags aren't there. I ask the Uber, is anything open that I can buy? Maybe toothpaste, a toothbrush, that type of stuff. And sure enough, he takes me